Hey, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all on frequency. This is ZA6YI operating hosting the worldwide DATV Net at 1400 hours GMT. As always, we want to thank the Qatar Satellite Company for allowing us the opportunity to be on their satellite. We wish to thank AMSAT DL, AMSAT UK, and the British Amateur Television Club, BATC. Three organizations that have certainly made this possible, where we can transmit to different enthusiasts all over Europe, Africa, and parts of South America, India, and even Israel via high definition television. Today on our net, let's just see who we have on the list. We've got Ed, hopefully he'll be there, Papa Yankee 2 Radio November. Unfortunately, Leon had to go off to his place of work. It's a little bit late for him, this hour extra. So, but he will try and make it in due course. It's just until he's done with the task that he's doing. But he was on a bit earlier. And then we have Martin, G8KOE, followed by Peter, GW7BZY. And Peter's got an interesting thing he wants to do. So, Peter, if you can pass it to Michael. He's running 25 frames per second. That's EA7KIR in Spain. And then down to Brian, G6HFS. in the UK, and then to Phil, Mike 0PIT, also in the UK, and then to Nick, G4IMO in the UK. Those are the only stations I have on at the moment. So let us see if Ed would be able to come on. Papa Yankee 2 Radio November, would you like to take the microphone from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India?
Let's turn on the microphone. Hi, Gary. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good day, everybody. Nice to be here. Hope everybody's getting a very nice Sunday. Today, weather here is fantastic. We passed through a very rainy week, but today we have blue sky and very comfortable temperature, which is 23 degrees. Not much news this past week. Just keeping the activity, DX activity on 6 meters. We are getting real good openings from South America to Asia. And I got a QSO with Marshall Island. No, sorry, not Marshall Island, Guam. A few nights ago, and yeah, 6 meters is going great. Very nice band for those who likes some exotic DXing. What else? Nothing much. Glad to see you guys. Thanks, Gary, to put me on the top of the list, and I really gonna make only this over. Wife is waiting to. We need to go to buy something for the lunch, and that's gonna be my single transmission for today. But I will watch until the last participant. So thank you all. Have a great net. and see you all guys next week again. So next to me is Martin, G8 QOE. Martin, so passing to you from Papa Yankee 2 Radio November 73 to all.
Yeah, okay, the Red. Did like the cartoon. I think that went down exceedingly well. I know Brian liked it as well. Really, really superb. Look forward to all your bits and pieces there. And Leon going away. No, that's no good. I thought, as I showed the rocket last week, when he wasn't there, I'd show it this week again, just to make up for it. But it doesn't look like I can. Well, I might even show it at the end. Anyway, because I quite liked it. Right, this All-Star, which has been taking off in the UK. At the moment, we've got 13 connected. I think one station twice, yes. But that's the sort of situation on locally at the moment. It goes up and down a bit, but it's proving very useful for talkback. Let's go back to me. Also, a couple of repeaters are getting geared up to use All-Star as their on top of their normal 144.750 talkback. That's GB3 HV, which is run by GTZ, and then it's on Tuesdays at 2000 hours. Be streamed. You can find it on the BATC streamer, and their talkback will be 632781. That's 632781. So it'll be the first, I think, test this week of it. So it's still experimental and seeing how it will work out to possibly encourage some amateurs that are further afield. Also, GB3SQ is close on his heels. I think he's almost there. He might even be there by now. That's G4KLB. There's usually a Sunday net at 2000 hours, but I think he's working nights this week, so he probably won't be able to do it. But their talkback channel on All-Star will be 63245. 63245. So two stations to look out for. So it's GTZ, which is GB3HV, and GB3SQ, which is G4KLB. Now there may be lots more repeaters that are do regular streaming that will include an All-Star side of things, but it's all very changeable. I was going to talk about my, I thought I might even talk about it, which my radio list node, which was working. I say was working. If you remember, that's all it looked like. And I just tacked an electret onto it. Nothing very special in the box. And we added, as you can see, the amplifier there, it's been there for ages. But we added this little module board, which a lot of people are using, which worked exceedingly well. I was really chuffed with the way it was working, but I think some idiot forgot to remove the bias resistor. I think it's R6, so I think volts were sent up, and over a period of time did nasties to the module, which this morning wasn't working. That's the one I used. Very impressed with it. It was in the article on a radialist node, but there's one station, G6GZH, who's using one, and his audio sounds absolutely cracking on the 47572 All-Star network, but mine isn't working now because I forgot. I think I was in too much of a rush and it was cold in the garage. that's my excuse. Probably just old and forgetful. What else? I suppose I could show. Now the hub. This is all going to be All-Star again. Apologies to all those, but it is sort of connected. Now we get lots of intermittent mains here. I know nothing like South Africa, but I've invested in a small UPS because there are always little outages of a few seconds, and it causes absolute chaos. So the little UPS feeds the router, and at the moment DATV 46572 hub, which is sitting in the little Raspberry Pi 3, which may change in the future, and that's what it looks like. It's quite interesting to see the volts go up and down on the input slightly, and it stays there. And with nothing on the input, it does drop down to 225, but at least it keeps everything running. I haven't done a that's where it back up and then the in segment flashes and a few beeps, but I haven't done a long test, so I don't know how long it will be able to back it up, but it's really just to cope with the small intermittencies that we get here, which just cause absolute chaos. So that should hopefully do it. Apart from that, I haven't really done a great deal. I'm mostly concentrating on trying to find out. So I think I'll play the video once more of the rocket launch, even though Leon's not there, but it just makes me feel better that my whole over hasn't just been about I was going to say D-Star, it's not All-Star. Well, the other thing I suppose I was going to mention is Leon not being there has messed me up. Let's go to the centre screen again. Obviously, that's the article on the which I showed before, and that's the magazine. And I think they're absolutely superb magazines. And if people want more, they can download them from this site. There's lots of them there. They're full of really nice articles if you haven't come across it. So that's kh6htv.com/newsletter. Thoroughly recommend that. Just thought I'd add that in. I just all sort of prepared because I saw Leon was on earlier. If I'd known he wasn't going to be around, I'd have annoyed him. Right, I'm going to play this little video of the rocket launch, and then I'll hand it over to Peter, who won't be talking about All-Star. I'm pretty certain. So here we go, video, and I'll be so sensitive over this round.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, Martin. Yeah, excellent stuff. All-Star, brilliant. I'm well. Have been using. I was speaking to. Excellent stuff. All-Star. I was. I'm well. Have been using. I was speaking to. I'm just trying to find the different screens so I can turn the sound on both of them. Yeah, I did speak to you earlier on All Star via your node, which is kind of too good, because although I thought I had to buy a radio, and then I've just realised I've actually got a Yaesu D100D all band all mode radio that is sitting there doing nothing, but it just do 70 centimeters. So I think you can do 12.5 kilohertz. But I shall play with that maybe, because otherwise I've got a little walkie-talkie, which works great, but doesn't have a rechargeable battery. What have I been doing? I've been playing with SRT, and I have a little demonstration for you that in a moment. It's a cracking bit of kit. It's basically a form of UDP, but with error correction, both forward and play again where it can request lost packets. So it's very good and fairly immune to the vagaries of RF. So it's what the broadcasters use to send news with the help of bonding. Of course, they use more than one network, and I think actually you can get a Pi to bond a couple of USB dongles from different networks, should you have them. But otherwise, you can use one. In my case, I would use one phone and a laptop and a hotspot on the phone, and you'd be transmitting via your HDMI to USB dongle. So with that in mind, I have a guest from far away. I don't know if you'll recognise this guest, but he's not new to amateur television. Let's see if I can get this to work. Where is he? Yeah, hand it over now to a fella called Gary.
Okay, now we are transmitting from South Africa via. Let me just cut the audio. There we go. So how's that for a bit of a link? We've got a different link in Peter and myself. I'm just using my laptop's camera and the laptop's microphone, so no real excellent quality, but it seems to be working out okay. I'm just watching it, looking at my own signal via satellite, and it seems okay. So anyway, that was something new for the day. Got hold of me a couple of hours ago. He said he'd like to do a test, so I put another laptop on just to do the streaming straight to his address, and it's working very well. It's quite handy. One can use it if you mobile. Let's say you play on business, you can use this to link through somebody you know. Say hi to the guys on the Sunday net. Okay, Peter, I pass it back to you, GW7BZY from ZA6YI.
GW6YI, GW7BZY. Thank you, Gary. Excellent stuff. GW6YI, GW7BZY. YI, which is northeastern greeting, actually, from sort of the northeast of Britain. YI. So there we are. Yeah, that works. It's working perfectly, I'd say. There are other ways of connecting, which are less durable, and that would be an NDI bridge, which works fine when you're working hardware to hardware, and through vMix, of course. It's really optimized, and you don't have the voice echoing round because it's on a different sound circuit. Yeah, so that's all good. So that's the demonstration there. It's done. I'm sure it's got many uses. Probably never be used again, but I will try and use it portable, and go out with my camera and transmit from some interesting parts of the locality around here, and see if I can get that to work. I think you can use a player. Pi produces a player software, which is Stream R us with a capital R. Streams R us, Stream R us, which is a bit of free software that you can burn to a micro SD card and then put into your Pi, and that will work as an automatic streamer, an automatic player, should I say. As soon as it detects a signal, a properly configured stream, it will play onto a television or into a mixer or into a transmitter even, so you could use it as a remote. which is quite good, but it only does H.264, whereas the excellent picture from Gary there was on H.265, which obviously makes a bit more use of the available bandwidth. With that, I'll hand it round to Mike KIR. I can't remember. It's EA1 KIR, I think, isn't it? I lost a bit of paper. But over to you, Michael, from GW7BZY. Oh, and this is especially for you. Okay, I've got an echo. I thought you'd like an echo, Mike, from GW7BZY. I'm going to fade to... If I can find my test card.
Well, yeah, that's fantastic, Peter. Absolutely fantastic. In fact, I'm actually upset because I was planning to do. I haven't actually done anything about it, but I was thinking of doing it, linking up to someone in Australia and putting them on the satellite. But I haven't got my end of SRT sorted out yet. It's on my list of many, many things to do, despite the fact I was promoting it a few weeks ago on the Thursday Night Net to deaf ears mostly, I think. But yeah, absolutely incredible. Yeah, very good indeed. I was asking at the time, would it be possible to actually transmit SRT over the satellite? Well, yes, it would, but it wouldn't work because it's it needs the return channel, as you mentioned, you know, so that it gives an AC signal or a NAC signal if it wants a frame sending again, a packet sending again. So unfortunately, it wouldn't. But in my view, it sounded like a good idea because it would do away with DBFS2 altogether, and you could just do it as pure digital. Which is another question, isn't it? Why do we use DBFS2 at all? Why don't we just do it? I don't understand any of it. There's a lot of things I don't understand, and I've got a list of things I don't understand. Okay. Frames per second. Yes, I am actually transmitting at 25 frames per second, and I do that because, you know, I'm British. Well, I was. And in fact, the whole of Europe, and I believe South Africa, I think our part of the world, the whole of the West, excluding the United States, which don't really belong to the West in my view, use 25 frames a second. But I bought one of these things, you know, one of these things. It's a USB, HDMI to USB dongle, I suppose it's called, and you just plug it in and it works. It's fantastic, except it converts anything you put in to 60 frames a second. And this is not what I want. You know, I plug a camera in, which is set up at 25 frames a second, and it comes out at 60. You know, well, it would if it worked. It actually comes out at 5 frames a second, but if I record it through FFmpeg and then play it back, it was actually coming through at 60. It might have been 30, I can't remember. The point is, it changes it. It's not. So I don't understand what's going on. I mean, is it because, you know, the biggest market in the world is apparently that big island over the sea which the Europeans occupied a few hundred years ago and forgot everything about where they came from? So they use 60 hertz mains, whereas the rest of us use 50. Is it to do with that? Is it just market share? I don't understand. But my switcher, I can switch it even to 24 frames a second. And I was transmitting earlier today on 24, and it does work. Because I can also... No, I don't know whether I'm actually transmitting. This is the thing, you see, because my hardware encoder, I can't select 24, so probably that's converting it to something else. What I'm getting at is I am utterly confused about what standard people are using, what standard I should be using. Does anybody actually know what they're doing? Probably not. And what is the difference between 25 frames a second, as they call it, and 50 frames a second? 25 or 50? Or 30 and 60, for that matter. Because I come from that era where we had interlace. Now, I do understand interlace. I was very young at the time. I do understand. And you transmit all the odd lines in one, let's call it a packet, so I don't use the word frame. You send all the odd lines in one packet, and the next packet is all the even frames. Even lines. And you put them together on a CRT that does it twice, and that's a frame. So a frame, you know, it is double the number of lines that you send in each packet, right? So that would mean, if we're talking 50, what does that mean? That to me, that means you're sending all the odd lines and then the even lines at 50th of a second intervals. You add them together, so you've got one frame per 25 frames a second, okay? But I don't think that's what they actually mean when they talk about this. I think they're talking about something else. Anyhow, I've probably confused everyone now. So what else am I confused about? Latency. I'm sure I could sit down and work this out if I really tried. But when I press the talk on here, a few seconds later, it appears on my receive. I get that. I get why that happens. What I don't get is when I cancel press to talk, it vanishes from my receiver instantly. So what happened to the few seconds that was on its way? Why doesn't the receiver still catch the bits that I was sending just before I cancel the press to talk? Do you understand? I find that very, very confusing. Moving on, the other thing I could just mention, since we're talking about All-Star, see? 63271. Yes, I've been caught in the plague as well. I removed R6. Martin mentioned R6. R6, for those that don't know, because I've only just found out, is if you don't remove it, you're sending a polarizing voltage for an electric microphone. And if you're not using an electric microphone, it's a good idea to get rid of this resistor. Otherwise, it's sending voltage back to the source, which could be damaging, as Martin discovered. I'm looking at it now, and it looks like something a fly might have left behind. It's a little tiny dot on a piece of white paper. There is no way I would ever get this back in there if I wanted to. The other thing, Martin, that I should mention is your UPS. I hope you bought what's called an online UPS, because if you haven't, then these brownouts, as they're called, will just go straight through. An online is generating a sine wave. It's got an inverter in it, in other words, and it carries on inverting on the battery through a brownout. But an online, it just vanishes for a second, but less than a second actually. It vanishes while a relay changes over to the battery. So that could cause a problem depending on how fast the relay is. So upsies need to be onliners. That's it. I expect you knew that. I'm sure you'll tell me. Okay, moving on. So it's over now to Brian, G6 HFS. That was a good rant, wasn't it? So this time I'm going to put my caption up so I don't cut myself off at the end.
Okay, good afternoon, morning or evening. Check we've got sound. seems to be fine. Well, not got a lot to add. I should just make this one over today. Like everybody else been fiddling. And I found a problem today. I set my node up to be wireless Wi-Fi. I thought, well, there's a disk behind me on the shelf and the Pi is the opposite side of the room. I thought that'll be alright. Now I keyed up just to check for today, and an error message popped up. Wi-Fi connection lost. I thought, pardon? Oh, so hunt around for a 4 or 5 meter Ethernet lead, and I've had to hardwire my Pi. It seems this particular channel, I don't understand why, is flooding the shack and it's knocking the Wi-Fi out. Anyway, that's all sorted now, so it's hardwired, so that shouldn't happen again. I left the Wi-Fi on. I didn't bother turning it off in Raspberry config, just in case, good as a backup. That's really about all I've been doing, apart from setting up a second node as a monitoring station, which I'm going to link to my main node. Do it through the same Pi. Just seems that to monitor, it's a bit strange. You have to sort of leave radio equipment on. So I thought I'd find a way of just having the audio on with the Pi and the node. As I've got a wireless node, it's not easy to get. It's not easy to get audio out. Oh, turn those boys off for a minute. Yeah, so I'm just doing a monitor. I could go inside the Shari and pick up, I think it's pin 3 on the SA818 chip is audio. But we can look at that. That's all about I've got to say, really. I think I've got to hand it over to Phil, M0PIT, and I'll say 7 threes for this afternoon from G6HFS.
Right, especially for Michael. I'm sure you appreciate this, and I am sure that it is totally winding up Leo. So enough of that. Let's go back to proper sound, proper audio. There we go. Afternoon, guys. Hope everybody is well, etc., etc. What have I been up to? Well, there's a couple of things that I've been up to. First one is this. It's a new camera I've purchased, and I'm quite astonished because this camera cost £6, which is about, what, I don't know, €7, something like that. It's a total clone. It's not got any branding anywhere on it at all. I think even on the USB identifier it comes up as something like generic webcam or something. But this is the box from our friendly supermarket, namely AliExpress, and I'm quite astonished. I think it's I would call it wide angle, but the quality for £6, €7 is absolutely astonishing. But anyhow, so that's that one. If anybody's interested, I can dig out the link and I'll put it on the chat. I don't think there's many of them around now. When I looked a couple of days ago, I think I only found one site within AliExpress. When you get to the edges, it's it's curved, but if you consider it's £6, I could go into OBS and cut all that off. But for £6, I was quite astonished. Anyhow, I'll go back to the C920, which is that one, which costs more than £6. What else have I been up to? Well, my power supply, which sits outside and it delivers power and monitors the PA. This is it. And on the left hand side there is an Arduino Mega, and then on the right hand side of that it's just a piece of strip board, Vera board, that's a bit of interfacing, etc. But what I want to do is that I want to replace that that Arduino, that Mega, with something a bit faster, because it uses a web interface on it, and the Arduinos are not a web server, and it's basically to produce a web page on an Arduino, believe it or not, is equivalent to print statements, loads of them. But anyhow, what I want to do is to replace the Mega with a Nucleo 64, which is one of these things. Okay, it's got a lot more memory on it, and I think it's something like about 8 times faster. So that's my plan. On it at the moment is an Ethernet shield, and the only problem with that is that the interface for an Ethernet shield is that little connector there, and it doesn't connect to the Nucleo, so you've got some fly leads. But I have a question. I'm not sure if anybody's done this on an Arduino, but what I need to do is to run 2 devices on the SPI bus, and in theory you should be able to do it. However, the modules, the pre-built modules that I am going to be using, come pre-built, and my question is, if you use multiple devices on an SPI bus, the intermediate device, do you have to remove the termination resistors? That I don't know. I don't have another board at the moment. I've got one on order, and I'm going to try it. But if anybody's put more than one device on an SPI bus on an Arduino, I'll be interested to know if you had to remove the intermediate device, its termination resistors. Anyhow, so that's that. My PC, my replacement RX PC, which was originally my TX PC, I've had it running during the week, and it appeared to be all right. And as soon as not soon, but when I ran it today on receive, all set up for the net, it locked up again, and it's exactly the same as the last time I ran it, which was about 2 weeks ago on the net. So at the moment my new received PC is now, or replacement, not new, is sitting over there on test. Now I'm just looking at it and it hasn't locked up. I think it is, I think my gut feeling tells me that it's something to do with the graphics card. I don't know. Maybe I'll get to the bottom of it, maybe not. But anyhow, so that's what I've been doing all week. Nothing really exciting. So I'm going to hand it over now to Nick. So I'm going to put up a test card and then switch it over, or switch the carrier off so Nick can take it. So this is MZ.
Yeah, okay, Phil, thanks for that. Just checking my, my audio, turn that down there. Where's my camera? Here we go. Put that on there. Is it working? Yeah, there it is. Right, yes, good afternoon, everybody. All very interesting. Actually, the ex-whale has just arrived home with the shopping, so I might have to go and help her in a minute. But anyway, not to worry. Anyway, I'll just quickly run down the list. Okay, Martin on the All-Star, very good. Very interesting. Yeah, I had a look at the SQ net and the Noel GTZ was experimenting putting All-Star on HV as well. When I looked, that was quite interesting to listen to that. And I can't read my writing here. Peter, SRT, yes, all sounds very good. I don't know what that stands for, but anyway, it obviously works very well. And if I think on the Australian net that they did, the VK net, when they linked up, didn't they? I think they used SRT then, didn't they? I remember Martin FKK commented on that, I think. Anyway, and Michael, 25 frames a second. Yes, I've got OBS set for 25 frames a second, and I've got DATV Easy is also set for 25 frames a second. The reason I leave it on there is because quite often I send videos on here. So anyway, that's why. Anyway, I'm using 25 frames a second according to the software that I'm using. Right, anyway, I'll make it fairly quick because it's already 1:45 here now. I wasn't sure whether I was gonna make this presentation, but anyway, I shall show it anyway, regardless. Right, quick look down here. You remember a few weeks ago I showed you this. I was working on this pan and tilt head. That's the cog, the large cog. There's one for the azimuth, and there's another one for the elevation. So where's my oh dear, where's me eagle eye? There it is, eagle eye here. So I needed to order a small, oh no, see, hang on, no, I thought we crashed the thing there. Right, so I needed to order a small cog to use to fit that on the potentiometer. So what you have to do, you have to work out. What I didn't realise was that when you order these, that particular cod is what they call a module 1. They're available in different sizes, obviously, but that one's a module 1. So you have to use a formula to work it out, to find out what module that you need. So this is the formula that you have to use, that you can work out what the pitch is and the module is that you need. So that's what I did. So I fitted that onto, where's my eagle eye gone again, onto this. This is a 10 turn potentiometer. So I had to make this little aluminium adapter. So it's got a hole in the end there for the pot to go in, and on the other end is the shaft that fits inside to the cog. So I fitted it all on there, tried it all out, and absolutely hopeless. When you put sideways force on the shaft of the potentiometer, the slider of the pot becomes open circuit, so useless. So I changed the pot for another one from the same origin, from China, and exactly the same thing was happening there. As the pot was rotating round, the slider was becoming intermittent. So that wasn't very good at all. So I then went and purchased this potentiometer here, which is a completely different type, also from China, and that's the one I'm now using, and that appears to be working. I've got one on the azimuth and one on the elevation, but the trouble is that the diameter of the shaft is much thinner, so those pieces of aluminium that I turned on the lathe to join the pot to the cog are now useless, so I had to make two more. And anyway, and it's now fitted in position. It's outside on its little mast. So I was trying to finish off all the work outside, so that's all finished now. As we're coming up to our winter period here, I didn't want to be messing about out there in the winter, and in the workshop as well. So that's the thing, waiting to receive some pictures from the ham TV from the ISS eventually, but I believe it's going to be sometime next year now. I haven't sorted the electronics out yet, and the next step is to make the controller to control the pan and tilt head. So but I can obviously I can work on that in the comfort of my shack, so I don't have to be outside and in the freezing cold doing that. Anyway, that's about it. Oh, the only other thing I was going to say was that my lapel microphone, I took it to pieces. The end of it is a little aluminium cap that unscrews, and that gives you access to the module, which is a tiny little thing. It isn't the normal size. Normal modules, little capsules, are about 10mm diameter. This is about half the diameter, tiny little thing. And the cable where it's soldered on, there's two little tracks on the rear of the capsule, and one of the tracks is completely ripped off, so there isn't any way that you can solder it on anymore. So that is now scrap. So I shall at some stage order another lapel microphone. It's only a cheap thing anyway off eBay. Right, I'll just check the list. I don't think there's anybody else. No, there isn't anybody else after me. So I'll put it round to Gary, and I shall probably make this my one and only transmission, I think. So round to Gary there. ZS6YI to take G4IMO.
Okay, G4IMO, ZA6YI. Yeah, excellent signals all over today. That's very nice. Really good signals. And nice on that gearing there, Nick. It looks good. Yeah, you could have probably gone to the end of the shaft, or near the end of the shaft, and given it another bearing, and that would have held it, given it more strength. But I think the unit you've got now, the potentiometer you have now, is a far better arrangement. but I'm pleased it's working. Yeah, Tom's been busy with something very similar, a little controller, and he's now busy. It's got its own little screen, and he can track the satellite automatically. So he's been doing some good work on the side on that. It's for the low orbiting satellites. Yeah, I just want to also say hi to everybody on YouTube that's watching. We have Paul, OE8PCK. Then we have Adam, Sierra Papa 9 Alpha Charlie Quebec. And then Regina Berg, Delta Golf 5 Fox Mike. And then Nigel Reeve, we all know Nigel. And then Cor Rademeyer, he's in the eastern part of our country. Hello, Cor, nice to have you on. And then Alfredo, IK1 Charlie Oscar Alpha Chow. And Joe, 9 Hotel 1 Golf Tango. Those are so far. Let me see, there's Ishmael. Hello, Ishmael. DL2IE. And Peter Rudolph, DK3 Zulu Fox. And Tobias, Delta Lima 7 Tango Juliet. All coming through, at least watching us nicely on YouTube. Yeah, I think this will be the final over because, yeah, Ed's not coming back. Martin will come back. Peter will come back. Michael will come back. Brian said he's only having one over, and so did Nick. So it'll be the final over through this lot, and then we'll close the net. So, Ed, let's see, he's not there. Martin, a G8KOE to please take it from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India.
Yeah, thanks there, Gary. I think we've got sound, but we'll just double check that there's some sound there. Yeah, I've been playing with OpenTuner, and I've obviously got two top and bottom screens, and playing with the different. I've got at the moment FFmpeg in the bottom and MPV at the top. Normally MPV takes longer to lock in, except with Phil. It seems to like Phil a lot and goes straight in. But MPV, when people drop out, I'll lose the end of their transmission because it cuts out before it's managed to stream out everything that's there. So I don't know whether I can't think at the moment all the technicalities there, Michael, but I suppose it's something like that. I'll leave that to Mike to come up with the numbers. I'm running 30 frames per second looking at OBS, according to that at the moment. And that demonstration of SRT, I've got to say, was pretty good. I was quite impressed. In fact, I was very impressed. I shall look into it a little bit. I did notice that not having that other program, but I use OBS, that they do mention SRT protocol streaming, play SRT in OBS and stream with SRT. So I will look at that and maybe have a play myself. But I've got sort of sidetracked quite badly with All-Star. And to you there, Phil, I would suggest you throw your expensive camera away and just use your cheap £6 one, because the quality and the pleasing is so more pleasing on the eye. When you go over to the other one, it's like you suddenly got a deep fog that's come on board, or it's gone out of focus or whatever. For me, yes, I thought that the bending on the doors weren't bad. I had another cheap camera which I must have got rid of, which the picture quality was good, but the door that's directly behind me, it looked really bad, whereas I didn't notice it on yours, but I suppose yours is a bit further away, perhaps. But I see that Mike said that there's a correction in OBS for wide angle correction, so maybe one could pull that in. I don't know, But no, for £6, I prefer looking at that than looking at your other camera. And I don't think I'd sort of wouldn't over notice the bends that much if that was the camera you had all the time. So that's me. And you look very smart, I've got to say, with the poppy, etc. So well done. Got to congratulate you on that. What else? I don't think there was much else. Not mentioned. Yep. No, I've got not a lot more to add. Oh, the gearing and that. That was interesting. I couldn't have the energy to do it with the dish and controlling it and such like. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And I wish I did in some respects, but I'd have got very frustrated before now and put a hammer through something. I don't get on terribly well that way. And yeah, not removing the resistor. Yeah, it's on the sound fob, the biasing side. I sort of vaguely know why I did it, because all I was using was an electric mic, and the module came through. I thought, I've got to get this in quickly because someone keeps moaning at me because I've not got sufficient audio. And so I probably rushed to put it in, and it did work exceedingly well. In fact, I had so much audio, and what I was impressed with is that there wasn't the buzzes and that I'd picked up from other modules. It was clean. So very impressed. And I've got another module en route, so at some stage I will get one in, and I hopefully won't break it this time. I couldn't believe it this morning because I did loads of updates on all the nodes that I'd got, and I thought, don't tell me it's one of the updates that has messed things up. That's why it's not working. So I then rolled it back to did a sort of reinstall of the as you can with ASL3 to an old saved image bits, and it's exactly the same. So I then looked at the CLI and saw that wasn't moving unless you sort of bashed the microphone or shouted into it. I did take the unit out in the garage, and sure enough, it not working. So, but right, I'll better throw it over to oh, Peter. That's right. I'm sort of forgetting things now, getting old, forgetful, and SRT. It sounds like a woman's disease or something, really. But so, what does SRT stand for? Over to you there, Peter from G8KOE.
Okay, GW7BZY without a test card even. Am I on? Yeah. Give it a moment. Yeah, with a bit of audio. Shall we go get the microphone a little bit closer? Yes, SRT. Just a trick question to see if I know what it's about, isn't it? It's secure, reliable transport, Martin. Not quite as exciting as it might imagine, but that's what it means. Secure, reliable transport. It's a UDP stream which combines some aspects of forward error correction and also some, the ability to request resends of lost packets if they become a problem, and it allows for quite a lot more. I think with HDMI stream, I'd say a HDMI bridge or others like Zoom, etc. I think you can only lose 5% of packets, and after that, it tends to collapse. Whereas this can lose more. I can't remember the actual numbers, but that's the thing about it. And when you use, which seems unnecessary, but when you're using wireless as a link, your USB dongle, bonded or otherwise, or your mobile phone, they seem to turn quite a lot of packets will disappear. And I was going to show a battery for my camera. It's probably bigger than than your camera there, Phil. I've got a charger for that. It charges 4 of them. I've got about 8 of these. They're very expensive. Yeah. So and I've gone to 25 frames a second. I've come on. I've said my bit, but I think the mic, the bit where it chops it at the end is because a lot of that is still in the buffer in the encoder, because you're using a separate encoder, aren't you? So the encoder doesn't know that you've stopped transmitting, so it doesn't try and collect it all together. I don't think any of them do. But if it takes 3 seconds for your signal to get from the camera to the output, and it usually takes a lot more, 10 or 15 seconds, and depending on how big your group of pictures is and other matters, whether you're sampling twice, then of course that is left at the end. So what I do, I watch my monitor and wait until it goes, put a black screen on. Then when the screen goes black on the receiver, I know that the buffer has done its thing. And the last time I had anything, inputted into it that was I wanted to go, it's gone, isn't it? Yeah, that's what I'd say. Data rate, I'm using 20 frames at the moment. The cameras, I've set the camera, it used to be 30 frames a second, 29.97 I think, if you're going to be pedantic about it, something like that, or 98, which is the issue being that color signal would react with a 60 hertz image. So they had to set it differently, to adjust it, because we were getting problems with in the US with the mains system. Why they went to 60 hertz, who knows? To be different, like for the same reason that the French and other ex-colonies drive on the left, just to be different from the British. I think is a lot of the answer. It's a political thing, in the same way that they have. I think is it in parts of Brazil they were particularly friendly with the Germans at one time. They have the same time zone, but anyway, even though geographically it's incorrect. So that I think the more data, the more frames you send, the more data you've got to send, and the higher resolution you send, I don't know if the data with frame rate and data actually corresponds, because there's a larger difference between frames if it's slower, less frames. So I don't know how that works. Maybe on something with a lot of movement in it, you might be better off sending it at a higher frame rate, because of the less difference and the less losses that you might experience. Whereas when we sat down talking heads, I think 20 frames or 15 frames a second is more than adequate, and it seems pointless to send unnecessary amounts of data on the background, etc. So that's just a thought. But yeah, thanks for the. I'm glad the SRT was well received, and I'm sure it has quite a few uses. And I'm sure I've got there before you, Mike. But I'm hoping that the Pi receiver might go into our local repeater player, so that can output a HDMI socket, a video through a HDMI socket. Feed on it into the repeater, so I might not have to put an aerial up. This is the thing, which would be cracking. I can receive it online and transmit online. It's going to suit me. I am sort of getting it together for All Star Martin. I'm liking it, but I was a little put out. I looked on. I saw one recommended place where they were selling the gear, and it looked cracking stuff. I thought, oh, it's expensive, but it'll go. It'll work. It's all programmed and everything. And then I realised I've got to buy a Pi as well. Now you're talking about £200 or £300. I thought, whoa. I know you can buy put together kits, but you still got to buy a Pi or something. So it's quite expensive, quite an investment. And so far the Echo Link works for free. So that's a bit of competition. Though it does look like I can talk to more people on All Star, and I can see the benefit, and I'm kind of moving all but slowly in that direction. So actually you've inhibited that by putting the Echo Link access point on your node, but don't take it down if you don't mind. With that, I don't know who I'm handing it to. Yeah, Mike. Over to Mike. Did I turn my echo off? Yes. Echo. Over to you, Mike, from GW7BZY. Hola. With a fade to play.
Yeah, I love the echo. Lovely echo. This goes back weeks, actually. You've got a long memory. And I never really did discover what caused that either. But a reboot seemed to fix it. I don't know what it was. Actually, that wasn't echo, as you well know, Peter. That was reverberation, and there is a difference. Audio sync. We all do this or some kind of equivalent, right? And most of us are doing that by looking at our return coming back from the satellite, which seems like a very sensible thing to do. But not everybody uses a RIDE receiver or the long, maybe they do, I don't know. But I have noticed on, if you watch some of the replays of some of the nets on YouTube, that the sound might not be in sync, even though you know it was in sync when you sent it because you checked your own sync. But you watch it back on YouTube occasionally. Maybe it depends who records it. I don't know. But it might not be in sync there. So what can you actually rely on? And it occurs to me, the only way you could be sure that you are sending in sync, sending, not receiving, coming back, but sending, would be to somehow analyze your RF output. And I have no idea if that could be done. But it just occurs to me that if you could generate a particular video signal, it might be a flashing black and white screen or something, together with an audio pulse that syncs with it from the source. Maybe you could detect that in the actual RF signal without decoding it. Just, basically, can you see that on a spectrum analyzer? That'd be a good, wouldn't it? Just a thought. Time zones, as a matter of fact, Spain.
Monitor your own output on receive. So if you're transmitting on 2.4 up to the sat, just look at that signal on 2.4. Just a thought, G7, J15.
Yeah, you could, but I don't have the equipment to do that actually. Yeah, this is the All-Star talking to me. It's a bit quiet. I need a more powerful power amplifier, I think. I'm hoping when I put it in a box it'll sound louder, and if it doesn't, I'll have to do something about that. But it's certainly not loud enough at the moment.
What you need to do, John, is monitor the transport stream, because that's where you have to sync.
Monitor the transport stream. Yeah, I can't concentrate on this and talk at the same time.
Yeah, I must say, Mike, that's exactly what I do. I normally have...
This is blowing my brains out. Okay, time zones. As a matter of fact, Spain is on Berlin time zone, and that goes back to World War II, when General Franco was pretty friendly with Adolf Hitler, and they've never changed it back again. And of course, where I live here, we are exactly on GMT. I'm absolutely due south from Greenwich here, so we're an hour wrong, and I wish they'd fix it because it's a nuisance. Anyhow, that's all from me. Thank you very much for the net, Gary, and I'll hand it over to, where are we going? I've lost my chart now. It's somewhere over here. Of course, you see, somebody could be telling me this now on the All-Star thing, but they're not doing, are they? We're going to Brian, G6 HFS. You see, Brian, he could have come in then and said, it's me. Here he comes. No, he's not. Okay, over to Brian.
Because Brian said he's not coming back.
we go. Turn the audio off. That's better. Right. Yeah. Oh, that's a bit loud. Right. Okay. Yeah. What I find quite difficult is that talk back. I find it's very difficult to listen to two conversations, or to listen to a conversation and talk at the same time. I'm like Michael. I just yeah, I can't do it. So I have to turn All Star off. Otherwise, I just can't listen to two. Anyhow, actually, that could be quite an interesting subject. I believe where that's actually come from was in my younger youth. I used to work in a computer suite, mainframe, and we had, I think we had about, it was either 5 or 7 mainframes in this suite, and you can imagine all the fans, I worked there for about nearly 10 years, and it's quite interesting that all the comms guys, and I was one of them, we had a room in the computer suite, and we had a conversation one day, and there was 4 of us, and we all had a problem with our hearing one way or another. For me, the problem was that I literally could not stand more than one person talking. I mean, I just couldn't stand it. I had to leave the room. If the television was on and someone was talking, I had to leave the room. I found it extremely difficult to go into a pub because of all the people talking. And I put that down to my time in the computer suite. Well, after I left, years later, that seemed to get better. I can now put up with more than one person talking. Doesn't mean to say I can understand what's going on, because I can't, but I can literally just I can put up with it now, where I never, when I used to work in a computer suite, I just couldn't. And all of us, we put it down to our little problems to do with working in an environment where there was all these fans, and believe me, there was a lot of fans. Anyhow, yeah, Michael, FFmpeg. Yeah, I can point you in the right direction. FFmpeg is a command line script. Okay, you might have a GUI in front of it, but FFmpeg is pure command line. And if you download the latest version of FFmpeg, it doesn't have all the codecs in it. So you need to, when you compile it, you do need to add all the various codecs that you want to use in it, and that can be a bit daunting. I've written up a procedure for me, so I'm more than happy to share that with you. I'm sure we can have a discussion as to explain what it's all about and how to do it. But basically, you have to download the version of FFmpeg that you want, and you also have to download and install all the codecs that you want to compile into FFmpeg, and then at the end of it you have to produce a command that incorporates all the codecs. So it's a bit of a procedure, but if you know what you're doing, it's not that bad. But if you don't know what you're doing, it can be very difficult, because you could get lots and lots of errors, and you won't know what on earth the errors are all about. I'm not saying I'm an expert, because I am not an expert, but I have compiled for my own use quite a few times, and so I've got a cheat sheet up there that sort of helps me to build FFmpeg with H.266, H.264, H.265, etc. But anyhow, that's enough of FFmpeg. Okay, who's next on the list? Nick is next on the list. So right, so what I'm going to do, as always, I'm put up a test card, and then maybe I'll put up a black screen, and then kill my carrier. Should I do that? Yeah, go on, let's go for it. So there's my test card. Let's find my black screen, wherever that is. There it is.
Welcome aboard. Will you take it? Because Nick said he's also making this his 1 over. So welcome aboard, Saro. Will you take it? Then you pass it back to me. VU2 OBR from ZA6YI.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my friends. Yeah, Gary, just back home and wanted to join with the net, but I seen the timing. So then I realized the net is still going on, only first round is over. So I registered my name and joined. Hope all fine there, all my friends. Just in the background, it is my farm QTH, just taken photograph. Next week I'll change it, just for nothing is there with me, so I use this photograph. Hope all audible, my audio. So last week I made my old FFmpeg setup. After that, Gary and our good friend from bye. So helped me to the basic settings of DATV Red. This is my first transmission with the DATV Red. So let me know the quality of the audio and video from Gary. So 73 is all of you. Thank you for watching. Next week I'll try to give something more. Greetings from India. Bye bye. Please go ahead, Gary.
Okay, Saro, very, very nice. Quality is excellent. Your audio level is a bit low. I had to crank up the volume here, so I would suggest you just increase your audio gain quite a bit. And you do it on OBS, as you know. And I'm glad Ohan could help you. He said it didn't take him 5 minutes. He said it was very quick, and you were already there, so to speak. So that went very, very fast, and I'm happy it all worked out. So, yeah, I'm going to close the net. We're just at the end of the net. I just want to thank everyone for watching today and coming on. It's been nice. And, yeah, Martin, I've just been so busy at work, I haven't even looked at All Star, but it's going to come sooner than what you think. And Peter, yeah, it was a good test doing that link. That worked very well. Yeah, there was a question asked why 25 and why 30 frames per second. Well, it stems from the earlier days of PAL, where they wanted to synchronize with mains. So in the UK you had 50 hertz, and so you could go 50 hertz or 25 hertz, and in America it's 60 hertz, and that's where that's so that's basically where it started, so that you didn't get flybacks and out of sync. But nowadays things are totally different, so it's not that important. Anyway, let me see. Yeah, Phil, nice on your signals. Pity the other computer gave you a problem towards the end on the receiver side. Now these things happen. I had a problem today, actually. Had to start up a few times, and it's not good. Something's not loading up with DATV Red, and so I had to reset the Pluto as well. But the reason was I had a temporary mains dip, and that completely threw things around. Okay, guys, with that, thank you all for watching on YouTube. What do they say? Press the like button and all that. Hello to Ashley, GE8PHDPH, is that right? Hello to Ashley. He's joined us as well on YouTube. Oh, incidentally, Michael, that that out of sync on YouTube, it's actually at YouTube. It's I found that a bit. I actually transmit or load the YouTube on, and sometimes when you review and you know your signals are in sync, your audio and your voice and the picture, and when you view it a few days later, you see it's out of sync, and then sometimes it's back in sync. So it's a definite YouTube issue there. I don't know what one can do to unless you go back and you re-edit everything and bring it back in sync, but it's too much effort. I don't have the time to do that. So the best is just close your eyes and listen to what the guy's got to say. But occasionally it runs for weeks on end, no problem, and then suddenly you have this issue. So not much we can do about that. It's out of our hands. I see it on commercial stations as well. Sometimes the guys lip sync slightly out, and when they do their web pages or webcasts and whatever. Right, so just that comment on that one. Saro, good to see you on. Nice audio, nice. The audio was a bit low, but the audio quality was okay, and the video quality outstanding. With that, I'm closing the net. Wish everyone a very happy week, and hopefully we see you next week, Sunday at 1400 UTC. This is ZA6YI, now going QRT, and bidding everyone on frequency a happy week.